Here's the first paragraph we're going to look at. The assignment is to write a paragraph that convinces me, the reader, that this issue the student is going to adopt for their semester project is an important issue. This will be the second paragraph in the final project, semester project. When I read through it, it's not hard to identify some of the key parts right away. The topic sentence is usually the first, and this sounds like a topic sentence. And the summary sentence is usually the last, and this sounds like a summary sentence. And here's some development about the idea. So the idea is homelessness is a worldwide issue, affecting not only second and third world countries, but also our own country of the U.S. And skipping this white part for a minute, which had me a little confused, going to the development. Why is it a worldwide issue in the U.S.? The problem is costly to taxpayers and governments alike. Well, that's a statement. That's not data yet, but then they give this data, this example of this development statement. For example, in 2017, was estimated that 85,000 disabled Americans were chronically homeless, and each one of these individuals costs the government $40,000 per year, and then it's referenced down here. So this part is really good. It gives data to support this idea that develops the idea in the topic sentence. The topic sentence says homeless affects the U.S. The development says one way it affects the U.S. is it's costly to us. The example gives us exactly how much it costs us. So that sequence is fabulous. Now let's look at this white part. It's great material. It says, I am personally not a stranger to the effects and reality of this community issue. The neighborhood I live in is greatly affected by this issue. My whole life I have witnessed homelessness and have grown accustomed to the sad reality that really anyone can become homeless. So this really brings it home to the reader how important this issue is personally to the author, and yet it's confusing to me because there wasn't anything in the topic sentence about personal effects. So I'm going to add a phrase into the topic sentence to make sure it covers all the topics of the paragraph. There, just instead of saying homelessness is a worldwide issue, I said homelessness is both a personal and a worldwide issue. And that wakes your reader up to what you're going to talk about in the paragraph, which is the personal aspect as well. Now let's look at what else the author says about the personal aspect. He says, I am personally not a stranger to the effects and reality of this community issue. The neighborhood I live in is greatly affected by this issue. My whole life I have witnessed homelessness and have grown accustomed to this sad reality that really anyone can become homeless. Now, is that development or example? It's kind of an example of his life, but it doesn't give us any specifics beyond the fact that he has witnessed it quite a bit. So I'm going to call this development, and then I'm going to look for an example that supports that. In fact, I could look for an example about the neighborhood, but I'm not sure what neighborhood the author lives in, or I could look for some data about the sad reality that anyone else can really become homeless. We'll make this green and then look for some example to support that. So here's how I added in some facts and data to support the development about how the author has lived with homelessness all around him and grown accustomed to it, and also the idea that this could happen to anybody. It did take me a while to find some good data. When I first Googled what causes homelessness, the first websites that came out were all ads for different homeless organizations and nonprofit organizations, and they didn't all necessarily link their data to good sources. So I had to dig a little deeper, but I didn't want to go into the library database and find the scientific side. I wanted to find something fairly fast. Still, it took me at least 20 minutes to find what I was looking for. This is what I found. I am personally not a stranger to the effects and reality of this community issue. The neighborhood I live in is greatly affected by this issue. There are currently 66,000 homeless in Los Angeles County. My whole life, then I referenced it, ABC News 2021. I should put ABC 7, and I have that website under my references right here. My whole life I have witnessed homelessness and have grown accustomed to this sad reality that really anyone can be homeless. The major causes of homelessness are often listed as lack of affordable housing, lack of trustworthy relationships, illness, disability, abuse, low wages or unemployment, or a tragic event such as a natural disaster, divorce, or layoff. I got that list from atlantamission.org. I chose that one because they had linked much of their data to other reports. These are situations that could happen to almost anyone. Then the next part that the author wrote was already development and example. Now there's just one thing that's missing, which is, remember the idea of the connecting terms, the terms that are in the topic sentence that need to connect to ideas in the body of the paragraph. There are quite a few terms in the topic sentence. The fact that it's a personal issue, a worldwide issue, that it affects not only second and third world countries, but also the US. So we've got the personal issue right here. He talks about how it personally affects him. We've got about how it's happening in Los Angeles County, which is the US. We've got about how it's happening. Here's some more data on the US. But what we don't have so far is anything about second and third world countries. Once we get that, then we'll be able to have covered everything that we touched on in the topic sentence. So to add in the idea of a worldwide issue, that there's homelessness as well in the second and third world, the developing countries, I had to add in a couple more sentences because there wasn't anything in the body of the paragraph about that. So I used a developmental green sentence. Finally, homelessness is a worldwide problem, and while each country is unique, anything we learn in the US about solving this problem could have applications in other countries. It is hard to get statistics on homelessness, I should say global homelessness. It's hard to get statistics on global homelessness because of different ways of defining the term, but in 2005, the UN published some statistics saying that there were about 100 million homeless in the world, and it is estimated that 1.6 billion lack adequate housing. Thus, it is natural to attempt to find the best, most cost-efficient solution there is. So, there is the new paragraph, revised according to the 4 key parts of an academic paragraph. And as you see, this particular paragraph does an interleaving thing. I give one developmental idea and some data about it or example. The next developmental idea and some data about it. The next developmental idea and some data about it. And the final developmental idea and some data about it. And that's because there was so much in that topic sentence that I really had to take each idea one by one. You might also, of course, do a paragraph that is one topic sentence, then a bunch of development, then a bunch of example, and then finally your summary sentence. This new paragraph isn't perfect. I could probably tweak it for so that it reads more flowingly, but I feel pretty happy about it, that it's convincing my reader now that this is a very important problem from several different points of view and also with several different types of data. Finally, as I gathered data off the internet, I remembered to grab the link to each of those websites. Remember, I haven't gone deeply into the issue of homelessness yet. I haven't looked at scientific research articles on it. I've just looked at what's fairly surface level on the internet, but it gets me going. So each time I added a data or statistic, I did a little inline citation. Right there, right there, right there. Pretty much after every yellow, I have the citation of where I got that data, and all those citations are easily matched with one of my references. So I hope this little video has helped you see how you can take an idea that's excellent, a paragraph that's pretty good, and make it into a really strong and powerful paragraph. Not in terms of powerful, strong words, but just in the fact that this paragraph provides data after data after data showing me why homelessness is such an important issue to tackle. So, newsflash, I slept on this and decided as I was sleeping that this whole paragraph would be better divided into two. Remember, there were 4 key terms in the original topic sentence, which means I had to have 4 topics in the body of the paragraph, and that was a lot. So I actually decided to split it into 2 paragraphs. The first one about how it's an important issue on a personal and local level, put all that data in, and then the second paragraph, how it's important on a national and worldwide issue. I think that organizes it much better, and you can read through the new set of paragraphs at your leisure. And of course, because there were 2 paragraphs, I had to add in an extra topic sentence and an extra summary sentence and an extra topic sentence. An added benefit of sleeping on it and working on it just a little bit more was that I found the original article that all these nonprofits were quoting. The original study was actually a Department of Housing and Urban Development study done in 2017. So now I feel much better about all these numbers that the nonprofits were offering me. Finally, somebody linked it back to the original source, which is great. Remember, this pair of paragraphs is taking the position that homelessness is an important issue that we need to learn more about, we need to inquire about. It's not taking a side on we need to use this type of program to battle homelessness or this type of program to battle homelessness. And so the wording about homelessness is at this point very neutral. That's how you should start your inquiry, because you want to be open as you start the inquiry to many different ideas and look at the pros and cons. So far on homelessness, we haven't looked at the pros and cons at all, at least not the pros and cons of the different types of programs designed to fight homelessness. We just gathered some data about the existence of the issue and the importance of the issue. So I hope that makes sense. I look forward to reading your paragraphs, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.